2022 Canada Cup. My name is Chase Johnston, the new voice of the Okanagan Sun football team, the BCFC CJFL. Joined alongside me, kicker of the Okanagan Sun, not current, but former kicker, former coach, former president of the Okanagan Sun, Bill Long. It is another sexy sunny day here in the central Okanagan, and we got a dandy here. Team Manitoba versus Team Nova Scotia. We want to welcome you watching all the way out in places like Lawrencetown Beach, Nova Scotia. Maybe some of you are in the Ospreac Cree Nation in northern Manitoba. Wherever you are, welcome to the broadcast here on YouTube. Both teams looking to pick up their first victory of the week. Bill, talk to me about these two teams. You and I called the game between Manitoba and Ontario. Manitoba shut out in that game. You know they're hungry for points, but let's talk about Nova Scotia.
Well, Nova Scotia had just as difficult an opponent in Saskatchewan in the last game, and Saskatchewan is one of the better teams in the country. And they also performed very, very well, as Manitoba did in the first half. I thought Nova Scotia has a lot of talent. I was impressed with the way their quarterbacks played and how they were able to both roll out and throw the ball on the run. I think that these two teams are pretty evenly matched as far as the talent level at the skill positions. So I think it's going to come down to whose offensive line can handle whose defensive line. That's really what's going to be. But I think Nova Scotia, they're solid. You know, as they got a solid team.
Well, let's talk about the Manitoba defensive line, since you and I got a good taste of it last Tuesday morning. That defensive line did get to those very quick, very fast quarterbacks that Team Ontario had at their disposal. You know, the big question you said earlier, that's the matchup here, the battle in the trenches, the O-line versus the D-line. And, I got a good look at Team Nova Scotia. They did battle Team Saskatchewan, like you mentioned before the broadcast. They could come in as arguably the Canada Cup winner this year. And Nova Scotia gave them a pretty tough time, especially in that first half. We'll see what they can do against Team Manitoba. Kickoff underway here, and we'll have Team Manitoba kick to Team Nova Scotia. So they will start with the football first.
And you mentioned, I'll just jump in here on the comment you made on the Manitoba defensive line. And you had Jerome Fouillard. He came within probably 3 sacks that he should have had in that game. He was all over in the backfield. So in this first series, we'll see if players like Fouillard and Jack Lausch can pick up where they left off in the last game.
And kick is up, and it is underway. Good morning here in Kelowna from the Apple Bowl. And Nova Scotia, decent return there as it goes back up to the 28-yard line. That is exactly where quarterback Carter Cohen and Team Nova Scotia, wearing their blue with white trim, will start off.
That kickoff didn't go particularly deep, and it's always a risk for a return person to let the ball hit the ground, because you just never know where it's going to go. And I think that these return players on both teams can just get a little tighter. That neither one of these kickers is going to punch it down to the 5-yard line.
First down and 10 from the 28. Shotgun formation for Nova Scotia. Snap taken. Cohen trying to escape pressure, and there it is. We talked about it.
There you go.
The defensive line wins the first snap of the game, and Cohen bottled up.
Well, I believe that was Jack Lausch, who I mentioned in the pregame, just at the start of this game, and his ability to be in the backfield, and he was all over it. They just crushed him. And Fouillard was there too. So that's an ominous start for Nova Scotia.
And we need to give credit to Team Manitoba. I mean, that was a heck of an offense that they had to face in Team Ontario last Tuesday. Now they're playing kind of up to their level. They're playing a team that doesn't have the ridiculous population that Team Ontario has.
Yes.
Second down here and long, 16 to be exact. Nova Scotia takes the snap. New quarterback in for Nova Scotia here. And they're going to run just to get positive yardage, and they just get back past the original line of scrimmage. It will be third down. The punt unit will come out.
Well, I think that was Dante Gabrielli. Either one of these quarterbacks from Nova Scotia can roll out and then can run with the ball, and that was he looked downfield, but he tucked it and ran. And that's a conservative start. Don't throw the ball into a place where it's 50-50. Be sure where you're going to throw it. And that was a really good choice by him to just take off and run.
And we'll take a look at kind of what head coach John Speck does with these quarterbacks. I mean, we've seen all the coaches so far use their quarterbacks in different ways. We saw Ontario kind of change them out per series. We saw Team Manitoba use them in different halves. And now Nova Scotia uses them both in different passing situations, as we see a little bit of a stumble there on the punt. Regardless, Manitoba will start the ball in favorable position at their own 54-yard line.
Well, that was fortunate for Manitoba because the ball hit a Manitoba player, making it a live ball. Unfortunately for Nova Scotia, they were within the 5 yards and got the penalty. And fortunately for Manitoba, one of their players jumped on that live ball. So it could have been calamitous at best for Manitoba. They got away with on the no yards call.
We want to welcome you watching on the YouTube live stream. Snap taken, run up the middle, and a decent gain there for running back Austin Neufeld, who showed some pretty good flashes there in the second half against Team Ontario, Bill Long.
He did. They started to get a little bit of a groove in the second half. This is a good start for Manitoba and their offensive line because Neufeld didn't have anybody even touch him until he was 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. And I could see that entire defensive line for Nova Scotia was pushed back a couple of yards. So far in the first two series, Manitoba is starting to take control of that line of scrimmage.
Justin Sharp in at quarterback, pistol formation for Manitoba. Snap taken. They once again will run it up the middle, and he is swallowed up. Read all the way on the play by Chase Krause. What a play.
That's a great response by Manitoba to step up. The defensive line said, no, we got shoved around on first down. We're not going to take it on second down, and penetrated. We're aggressive to the ball and forced a third down. Now, this is a situation where I think Manitoba says there's nothing really to lose here. It's early in the game. Let's go for it. Let's see if we can get this fourth down and convert this third down here.
Manitoba still looking for their first points of the week. Sharp will take the snap. He's going to look. He's going to throw wide right. Caught. And, I think he's short of the first down, at least from my vantage point.
They're going to need to measure this one. That's pretty close. Yeah, they're going to measure that. Manitoba thinks that they're short, but if they kind of looking at the angle, yeah, they're I think your call is correct. If they made it by a couple of inches.
Yeah, Manitoba might need to work on their sell job there, making sure that they're letting them know. Maybe you should measure that. No, they just sent the defense back on the field. Yeah,
they were a little presumptuous in that, but I think that it's going to be real tight here.
I mean, you look at where the ball was marked. I mean, to me, that's a full yard short. Is this going to be a?
No,
even that they are short, but that's still a fairly favorable spot.
Length of a football.
Yeah.
But in that situation, Manitoba has nothing to lose. It's early in the game. You're in the middle of the field. There's no harm done there. You can punt it away and go for field position. But these teams aren't playing to. These teams aren't playing to not lose. They're both going to play to win.
Yeah, and you know what? I think he took the words out of my mouth there. I think we're going to see both these teams take some serious chances here in this football game, Bill. Mm-hmm. First down and 10 for Team Manitoba. Ball on the 43-yard line. 8:46 remaining here in the first quarter. Carter Cohen back in at quarterback. He'll take the snap. They're going to run the ball up the middle, and he's met by some big boys wearing the black jerseys in Team Manitoba. Pretty good tackle. Tackle there from Dayton Rudolph, the defensive lineman from Sisler High School.
So Nova Scotia, the first series they came out and tried to throw the ball right off the bat, and all that did was put Manitoba's defense as the aggressor. They could come after them. So now Nova Scotia's come out the second series and said, let's run the ball. Let's get the Manitoba defensive line moving backwards and give some confidence to our offense.
Shotgun formation for Team Nova Scotia once again here. Cohen takes the snap. He's going to need to throw, and he's immediately met by a couple guys, but he gets the ball off, and it's a catch. The first down for either club.
That was a great play. It was well designed. The scheme on it was great. The inside receiver, the second of the inside receivers on the right side, both of them run on this slant, but the inside receiver comes in, and there's no linebacker there because the linebacker had stepped up. So there's a big hole there. That was a great call and a great execution.
Eris Perry from Dartmouth High School. Beautiful release there from Cohen. Better catch by Perry. And Nova Scotia now in Manitoba territory. Cohen again taking the snap. Another run up the middle and another short gain. Man, that Manitoba box, it's hard to get through.
It's going to be tough, I think, for Nova Scotia to run between the tackles, but they have to do it, and they have to commit to it. And you can't just go halfway through the first quarter and say, we can't run the ball today. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to have a commitment to it because you will eventually wear them down. And if you can at least get 3 or 4 or 5 yards between the tackles, it starts to open up other aspects of your offense.
Second down and about 8 yards. Nova Scotia needs a first down here. Completed catch, missed tackle, running up, first down and more for Team Nova Scotia. A great catch and run, being elusive, being a little slippery there was Noah Banks.
Well, Noah Banks kind of releasing into what's called the flats. He goes out of the flats, and that's a very difficult pattern for a linebacker to cover because they've got a long way to go. And you can see there's just couldn't get there in time, avoided the tackle, and turns a 3-yard pass into a 15-yard gain.
First down and 10. Shotgun formation for Nova Scotia. Snap taken by Cohen. And they're going to hand it off, and a nice run again, breaking a tackle, bouncing off. Nice run there from Team Nova Scotia running back Aiden Rosong. Rosong bumped off one of the tackles there, CPL and high school product from Bedford, Nova Scotia.
There's an example of how the initial play, it looks like he's going inside, and the Manitoba defensive line and linebackers completely collapsed because the previous 2 first down plays, Nova Scotia had run the ball between the tackles. Here they are. They've made it look like they're going between the tackles, and then they spit the ball outside, and they had lots of room around the corner.
And they're just going to run the ball at the middle. I guess they called him short on the play. I think there's a little bit of confusion there, but I think they're going to give him the first down now. We'll see what the spot is. And it will be a first down. Geez, Aiden Rosong really had to earn that 9 yards. It looked like he got more than that there, Bill.
You know, sometimes a quarterback sneak, you think it's a simple play. I've known quarterbacks that just aren't very good at it. And he was pretty good at it because you just burrowed in there. But some quarterbacks get too high, and then they get picked off by a linebacker coming over the top.
People think it's easy. It's an art, the quarterback sneak.
It is.
First down and 10. New fresh set of downs here from the 22-yard line of Manitoba. Nova Scotia's lurking. And look at Cohen. He's going to throw the ball deep and way out of reach. You can argue possibly pass interference, but that ball wasn't anywhere near them.
Well, the ball wasn't anywhere near him, and that play was more resemblant, I don't know, maybe the English Premier League. That was just a total dive by was that
Mackay Magloire.
Mackay Magloire. Yeah, sure you maybe can embellish, but I think in the NHL he would have got a penalty for diving on that one. But the quarterback predetermined who he's going to throw the ball to. He saw a one-on-one matchup and said, let's just take a stab at it.
Second down and 10 here. Cohen again. He's going to need to take a shot. Look out. Here comes the pressure from Manitoba. Fumble ball. Manitoba's got it. The ball is loose. And here comes Manitoba down the sideline. Afterburners.
Oh.
He evades one tackle and jukes. He keeps going. We got a flag on the play, and Nova Scotia tackles them down inside the 10-yard line. But hold up. It's a block in the back.
That's super unfortunate for Nova Scotia because, have that fumble and to lose that, they had a chance to get some points. But on the return, as I didn't see who the Manitoba was, I'm thinking to myself, don't touch that Nova Scotia player. Don't touch him. And then he just shoves him in the back. It's like, that'll be a coaching point later on. He'll say, the coach say, don't do that. But what a turn of events, and that's too bad because I thought Nova Scotia really earned to get some points out of that drive.
We have so many scouts here in the building, inside the Apple Bowl, from U Sports at the college level. It's the last thing they want to see Bill on.
Well, you can see him chasing, and look at right here, just shove. Like, really, it doesn't get more obvious a shove in the back than that one.
After the turnover, we have unnecessary roughness. It's a 25-yard penalties, first down.
Oof.
I kind of like how they've added the microphone option. I know that was added in the afternoon on Tuesday. We didn't have that in our Tuesday morning game. That's kind of nice, so we get to turn up the volume and listen to the calls and get the full explanation. But man, oh man, I mean, Manitoba went from thinking they had first and goal to first down and 10 from their own 50-yard line.
That's some real undisciplined penalties that'll be talked about after the game and probably halftime as well, and actually might even be talked about now.
Pistol formation. Sharp. He's going to hand the ball off to Neufeld. He's got a hole, and Neufeld rumbles his way inside the 45-yard line of Nova Scotia.
Well, that you'll probably see it come up with a replay on that one. That was a gargantuan hole. I think that hole was so big, I think I might have been able to get at least 2 yards on that one. That was a tremendous job by the Manitoba offensive line. And Neufeld didn't have anybody touch him until he was 12 yards down the field. But once again, Manitoba's decided that they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball inside and start getting forward momentum with their offensive line against Nova Scotia's defensive line.
We got a Nova Scotia player injured. That's the cause for delay here. But if you're head coach Jason Park for Team Manitoba, what's sort of the game plan here? We talk about how you want both offenses to really go for it. We're going to see a lot more third downs that are not going to be punts in this game, but you got to love what you can see. And we talked about this before the game. Manitoba's got the size over Team Nova Scotia. Do you just run the ball here? Do you utilize Neufeld like you just did there?
Oh, I think you don't stop yourself. If you're having success as an offensive coordinator, you're looking at this and saying, listen, we're having a tremendous amount of success running the ball between the tackles. Let's just keep it going until they stop and make us do something else.
First down and 10 from the 45 in Nova Scotia. Pistol formation here for Manitoba. And again, Neufeld runs the ball up, and Nova Scotia read that one like a book. 2-yard gain. It's going to be second and long.
So watch what happens here on the next time, probably the next time Manitoba gets a first down play. See, Nova Scotia picks up the pace here. It's first down. Their defensive line closes the gaps, comes real hard because they know Manitoba's going to run. The next time we get in that situation, I bet Manitoba goes play action pass and over the top.
Speedsters going to work here for Team Manitoba, and that is procedure on Team Manitoba, as there was a bit of a delay there on the snap. So Manitoba will move 5 yards back.
5-yard penalty, still second down.
Just getting a little excited, and then it's sometimes a quarterback's cadence will throw him if players haven't practiced a lot with them and they get a little excited.
So it'll be second down and about 13 here. I know it says second down and 2 on your broadcast here. It's actually second down and 13. It's 5 yards the other way. Sharp will take the snap. He's going to look. He needs some room. Good pass protection here, but he needs somebody to throw the ball to that's open. He just gets the ball off. It is a catch, and it is positive yardage, but it won't be enough for a first down. And look at what's going on there on the far right side of the field. We got a bit of a tussle there.
There was a little WWE going on late down the field there, and the referee didn't throw a flag in either one of them. He just told them to smarten up. But Sharp, the quarterback, looking downfield, there was a couple of players that were over the middle deep, but he just was running in the wrong direction and on his back foot, and kind of fortunately got this away. And that was a good effort by Tarek to actually get some positive yards out of that, because it wasn't going anywhere.
And it looks to me like Jason Park's going to just send out the punt team here. Ball is at the 40-yard line in Nova Scotia. Too far for a field goal. Not necessarily close enough with it being third down and 5 to go for it. And it's a nice-looking punt here from Manitoba. Ball will bounce at the 10. Trying to get some more yardage at Nova Scotia. They might be lucky to get maybe 4 or 5 extra after taking the punt. So Nova Scotia, not favorable field position for them to start their second series.
Well, we'll see if Nova Scotia comes out and runs the ball again like they did at the start of the last series, where they had success running in between the tackles and then making it look in between the tackles and go outside. So if they can continue to do that, if they can continue to get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 yards running the football, it will give their quarterbacks an opportunity to run some play action pass and maybe get a little bit more yardage over the top.
Apologies, this is the third series for Nova Scotia. Cohen takes a snap out of the shotgun. Short dump, caught. Trying to get some running room here, evades one tackle and dragged down on the right sideline there. Nice little catch and run there from Ryder Hennick. And for Ryder Hennick, goes to Sydney Academy. These are the types of plays we're going to see all day. These short dumps, short catches. It's all about the receivers doing the work.
Well, as you see, as the receiver made the catch and gets out to the flats, that linebacker who's got to cover him is delayed inside because of the play action, a little bit of a play action pass that the quarterback gave him. So it just held that linebacker enough that allowed Hennick to get a good separation and pick up almost a first down. A pretty good gain on first down.
Second down, Cohen. Nice catch up the middle. He has room. A big play for the Nova Scotia offense. And with his second catch of the game, Eris Perry. That's a big one.
That's a big play, and as you mentioned earlier, these short passes can turn into big plays. And even on Monday in the games we were watching, we made the comment several times, get the ball to your athletes and let the athlete turn a 5 or 10 yard pass into a 30-yard play. And Perry just hit that seam, running a quick slant pattern, hit the seam, turned it up, and that's a big momentum shift for Nova Scotia.
And for those of you watching on the YouTube feed, if you guys want to comment, hopefully I'm pronouncing Eris Perry's name right. If it's Aris or Eris, I'm unsure about that. Another short catch and another run. It's a gain of about 9 for Team Nova Scotia. And Ryder Hennick's got his second catch of the game here. So
far, Nova Scotia has been very, very, very solid on offense, other than the one turnover, which was unfortunate. But they're moving the ball. And they're not having really much problem, and Cohen Carter is looking very composed back there. And it will be second down and short here. Are we going to see another Carter Cohen quarterback sneak here? Yes, we will. And he is met and tackled for a loss. It's a sack, and he did good the first time. No dice the second time. That's what I was saying earlier about the quarterback sneak. You don't want your quarterback to suddenly just, I'm going to try and go off the tackle, because those linebackers is coming so hard, they're going to shoot through a gap. So rather than just barrel, he says, I'm going to go and try and get a little bit outside. No, you put your shoulders in behind the butt of your offensive lineman, and you just follow them. They'll get you the half a yard. So we're going to see a field goal here. And this is going to be a pretty long field goal from at least my vantage point. You're looking at, I believe, 41 yards. At this level, at this 40. Age, you're starting to look at between 40 and 50 yards. That's a good field goal. That's a good kick at this level. We saw some pretty good ones last Tuesday. The kick is up and it's blocked. Manitoba will get the ball back, and they'll get it back at their own 44-yard line. And already we've just seen some plays by the Manitoba defense. This time it's special teams. It's special teams, and this kick never had a chance. It was too low, and it wasn't so much a matter of Manitoba blocking it as just the Nova Scotia kicker just tried too hard. He just tried too hard to get that there, and you kick it too low when you do that, and I know that from experience because I've done that myself. You just try too hard and you just come up on the ball and hit it too low. So, Team Manitoba will switch sides. We're already done at the first quarter. That first quarter just flew right by, Bill. For a scoreless game, there was lots going on. I can't believe nobody has points. We almost had we almost had Team Manitoba pull off their best James Harrison impression. Yes. Receiving the fumble, rumbling down inside the 10. Unfortunately, he was called back because of a penalty. I mean, that was really the closest that either team's come to scoring in this game. It was, but they both had chances. They both moved the ball. There's been good plays, big plays on the other side. As I was hoping and kind of suspected that this would be a competitive and entertaining game, and so far so good. It'll be nice to do a game, I think there's a good chance that both teams will score. So it will be first down and 10 from
what appears to be the 44-yard line here of Team Manitoba. And that is where Justin Sharp will go to work. Justin Sharp came into this weekend, or this week rather, coveted quarterback. We've yet to see him kind of sling the ball deep. He had a couple shots against Team Ontario, but Team Manitoba offensive line just needs to give him that pass protection. We saw maybe one or two plays so far today.
There was a couple of times when he looked to pass, but they didn't really have anybody deep, and Nova Scotia came with such pressure that he was backpedaling the whole time, so he never had a chance to set. I don't know if Manitoba is going to really push it this series, but they do. As the saying goes, you got to take a shot. You got to push the defense down there vertically, and if they get themselves into a second and short position, I can see them going a little bit deeper, because then they may go for it on third down.
And we got a new quarterback in here for Team Manitoba. Pistol formation. Running the ball up the middle. It was kind of an awkward delivery on the handoff, and because of that, Neufeld tackled for a loss of about 2 or 3 on the play.
Well, when you hand off the ball that deep in the backfield, as I've said before, you better have control of the defensive line, because if you don't, you'll see on this play, the Manitoba offensive line doesn't control it, and Nova Scotia blitzes right into the play and throws it for a loss. So now Blatherwick's got to find somebody, see if he can go on that level 2, in behind the linebackers, 15 or so yards down the field. That's what he's going to need for that first down.
Miles Blatherwick in at quarterback. Pistol formation, Team Manitoba. Blatherwick. He's got a cannon of an arm. He's going to throw that one. It's caught. Short gain, though. It will be third down here for Team Manitoba. They're going to have to punt.
Good choice by Blatherwick. It's a safe play, a safe pass. The receiver running to the out. It's a safe pattern to do that too, because if he doesn't catch it, nobody catches it. We got half of it back, so now we're going to see Manitoba get a good punt away and try and pin Nova Scotia deep. And let's see if Nova Scotia can get some fire on special teams at their end and get a return.
Clock running here, 10:35 to go in the second quarter. And it's been a battle here. There's a bit of a confusion on the Nova Scotia side of things. They're actually being forced to take a timeout.
Well, it's a personnel situation that happens in these type of games and teams, where somebody comes off the field and they forget that they're supposed to be on special teams, and that goes down to only having a 40-man on the sidelines. So everybody's probably going to be playing 2 positions throughout the game, and if they come off the field and they're tired and frustrated and they forget, oh, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be on punt return.
And again, we're going to see that all week long.
Oh, yeah.
One game isn't going to fix your chemistry issues when you're playing with a bunch of guys you're used to playing against for years.
During the game, the special teams coordinator has their hands full with players that are tired or maybe injured, and they've got to make multiple changes and substitutions and get people in. It's a full-time job.
Punt is away, and it will bounce. Oh, it takes a favorable Nova Scotia bounce. It actually goes the opposite way, and they dive on it. Flag on the play. No yards.
That'll be no yards, and that'll be 5 yards because that ball bounced backwards, and Manitoba just couldn't get away from it. Not quite far enough where if the punter sees that, the punter can hustle down there and recover his own kick.
If you want to follow along on social media, make sure you follow Football Canada. Of course, the Okanagan Sun Football Club as well. Yours truly will be having some content shared later on today. Carter Cohen and the Nova Scotia offense goes back to work here. 1st and 10 from the 46 as we enter the 10-minute mark. Snap taken. Cohen right out of the hands, and that's just a difficult catch for Ryder Hennick to make.
Good throw. Carter got a lot on that throw, and receiver just couldn't make the catch. I'm waiting for maybe later on this quarter, but absolutely in the second half, for Nova Scotia to run that, but that receiver runs the out and up.
Yeah.
Because if he runs the out and up, he's going to be gone. And they're saving it. You don't want to throw that off the bat, but you got to run that play 3 or 4 times to set that up.
Aries Perry is the circled receiver here, second down and long. And again, it's another short dump. It is caught, but not enough for the first down. Nova Scotia off the punt again. Noah Banks couldn't get the room.
Just trying to get get the ball into your athlete, man. Have him make a play with it. Ended up getting 6 yards out of that. Not enough though. So Nova Scotia got away from the running game. Sometimes as an offensive coordinator, you say, okay, well, the defense is going to be expecting us to run, so we're going to pass. Well, maybe that works. Just keep running it, until they stop you.
I think Team Manitoba is quite thankful that they're playing the 10 a.m. game again. Wearing those black jerseys in 30-degree weather. That's not pretty.
No, it's there's a reason why the Okanagan Sun doesn't have black jerseys.
And look at this. Team Manitoba went for the field or punt block formation. The ball does get off. Jalen McDonald fumbles it. Nova Scotia has it. However, we do have a flag on the play, and
that'll be no yards, and that'll be a 15-yard no-yard penalty, not the 5. There's 2 different levels of no yards penalty, and if you're within 5 yards and that ball hasn't hit the ground and the player's trying to catch it and you're right in his face, they'll give you the big 15 yards on that one. So, as a coach, we used to say to players, guys, 5 yards, there's lines every 5 yards. You should be able to tell how far away you are.
Now, Bill, you might know this. I know with high school football in British Columbia, I think they are the only province that actually runs NCAA rules when they play. It's a bit of a hassle for Team BC. I know that they had problems with that last Tuesday night when you have to adjust back to CFL rules.
It is a challenge from the high school level, absolutely, because of plays like that.
And a pass taken and pass caught here by Manitoba. Short gain, but positive yardage here. Another rocket of a ball there from Miles Blatherwick. I think that was caught. Was that Ron Print?
It was
Ron Print.
Go back to your comment about BC high school football. I think the reason that BC plays U.S. rules is because when they first started high school football in BC, the only teams they had to play were in Washington State. So they came across the border because there's nobody else to play down in Vancouver. So, and it's just stayed that way. But it is a challenge to bump up to this level.
Blatherwick, pistol formation. Snap taken. Again, another short dump. Flag on the play. Manitoba trying to at least make something out of this. They will get positive yards, what appears to be a first down, but we'll have to wait and see what the call is.
That's going to be an offside or illegal procedure against Manitoba. The receivers are trying to time, the inside receivers are trying to time their hitting the line of scrimmage as close to as they can be when the ball is snapped. And they're just not doing it. I've seen it a bunch of times where they're coming up, and the refs have let them go with a bunch of it. But that one was, he was a yard and a half past the line of scrimmage when the ball was snapped. So you got to call that one. But that's just a timing thing, and players being a little too excited and not really paying attention to the quarterback's cadence.
I just wanted to correct myself. Thanks so much to the YouTube live stream chat. Quebec is also NCAA rules at the high school level.
There we go.
So timeout here. It will be second down and long after the penalty. Follow along on social media through Football Canada on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Just a reminder, we got more games here today. 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Team BC playing Team New Brunswick tonight. Good crowd for the BC versus Alberta game, but we all knew that was going to happen.
We did, and I watched that game later on, and that was as good and as close to the game as everybody thought it was going to be.
Second down and 10 from the 46. Just under 8 minutes remaining here in quarter number 2. Snap taken. Blatherwick complete and immediately tackled after the catch. He tried to fight through it, but there's only so much that Brandon Kubay could do, and Manitoba once again will have to punt.
Throwing those short passes, be conservative, trying to get the ball to their athletes to make the first down, but eventually they're going to have to go a little bit deeper. They're going to have to try and get at least to 15 or 20 yards down the field, and they haven't, off the top of my head, I don't think they've actually thrown a ball at a target that was 15 or 20 yards down the field. They're going to have to get to that eventually.
And if you're Jason Park, I mean, why not? Blathwick's got a rocket of an arm. It's just all about his offensive line giving him the protection.
Yes, it's all about, is he going to have the time?
Back to accept the punt here is Mackay Maglor. It's a high booming punt. Again, we're going to have another no yards penalty. And Maglor trying to escape pressure, and he gets absolutely decked on the play. Arguably the biggest hit I've seen so far this week. My goodness. I think Tariq Ahmed just came in and drilled him.
He got hit so hard his whole family fell over. But once again, 5 yards. You know, the punts like that, when they go up point first, and then when the point doesn't turn over, they fade back, and then they come a little bit drift back towards the line of scrimmage, and it can really throw off a cover team thinking that the ball's going to land at a certain spot, and then it kind of drops at a different angle.
New quarterback in, it's Dante Gabrielli from Canada Prep. He's going to hand the ball off right away, but look at Manitoba D. That front four for Team Manitoba has just been dialed in so far this morning.
Opanubi and Lausch right on the tackle on that one. They're not easily pushed around, and they're starting to take control. I mean, in the first quarter, Nova Scotia had some success running the ball between the tackles, but they got a little bit away from it. I still think they need to do that because it's going to open up other things for their offense.
Second down and 10. 6:40 to go. Snap taken. Gabrielli, he needs to get the ball off. Instead, he's going to run it here. Can he get enough? And he escaped one tackle, but again, Nova Scotia is short of the first down by a couple, and we'll more than likely see the punt team come out. And we see a lot of them scrambling on the bench. So many of them, Bill, were just sitting there, not aware.
Yeah, and that's just, you mentioned before, that's just personnel. And Gabrielli, I like what he did there. He quickly made the decision, no, I got to go, and then he went. And you can't be indecisive back there. You've got to, oh, am I going to go? Then go. And he was just an ankle tackle away from breaking that for an easy first down.
What's the over-under on no yards here after this punt here, Bill?
I think Vegas has got it at 3-1.
And wow. Oh my goodness. A pro-level punt there from Nova Scotia, forcing Jalen McDonald way back towards his 10, and he's got nowhere to go. The best play of the game was a punt here, Bill.
That was beautiful. I love that. I'm maybe a little biased, but I just love a good punt like that. That was fantastic. Put it in a wonderful spot. You always teach your kickers, put it between the numbers and the sidelines. Don't kick it down the middle of the field. And McDonald in the first game on Monday, he was the same position. He had lots of opportunities to return kicks, but he always had somebody in his face and never had a chance to get a run. If he is able to get that on the fly, get that in, catch it in the air, now he's got some room to work with. But because it was kicked away from him, now he's chasing it. The ball's bouncing around, and that's a big play for Nova Scotia. We'll see if their defense comes up here and can force Manitoba into a second and long.
Declan Oss with a monster punt, forcing Team Manitoba and Miles Blatherwick back at his own 13-yard line. He'll take the snap. Empty. He's going to escape pressure here. Can Blatherwick run? He's going to prove it right now, and he'll truck his way towards the 20-yard line, short of a first down, but good legs, good wheels there from Miles Blatherwick.
Good wheels. He had to pull that down because of the pressure that came up from the middle. As a linebacker came from the outside, that was Jaden McLean. He came through there and blitzed from the outside, so Blatherwick had no choice but to pull that down and try and make something out of nothing. Getting 7 yards on that play is a pretty good result.
It's that second down and short here coming up, and this is that moment where do you run it with Neufeld here, or do you try and just do one of those short dumps from Blatherwick? This is the wheelhouse that kind of Manitoba wants to be in, are these second and short situations. And they're going to throw, and they're going to throw the ball deep, and it's caught, and they got running room down the sideline. Rumbling and tumbling is Eric Martins. Can he go all the way? Touchdown, Manitoba.
There you go. Now that was only about a 15-yard pass, but as you said at the start of that play, when you get that second and third, second and short situation, it puts a defense in a terrible position because they really don't know what you're going to run. You could run the ball, you could run a pass, so they've got to come up with a bit of a zone defense there, and Manitoba found that hole in the zone, a missed tackle, and then you turn it up and just letting the player's athletic ability get down the field and just showed his wheels. But
what a decision from Jason Park, though. I think we were projecting maybe a run for Neufeld, maybe one of those short slings. Maybe we'll see, Blatherwick run the ball. Blatherwick took a shot there.
Well, he did. He gave his quarterback the deep option. There was, 3 other receivers out there running shorter patterns, but that was a read by Blatherwick, who said, no, he's open. And, I think I was talking to Tyler McLaren, who did the commentary for the other 2 games that I didn't do on Monday, and he and I were discussing this morning that sometimes you may be a little hard on quarterbacks in these games for making decisions. And then you have to realize that, they're only 16, 17, 18 years old, and they don't have a lot of experience to make decisions. That was a great decision by Blatherwick. He absolutely picked the right guy.
Extra point there is good from Francesco De Rosa. And you know what? They're making some noise out in Steinbach, Manitoba. That is the only player. Martins is the only player from Steinbach on this Manitoba roster. What do we got to say here? He turned on the Jets. He did the work. And Team Manitoba has points for the first time in the Canada Cup.
That's exactly right there. That's a huge play for them, just for their confidence and for the rest of the game. I don't think Nova Scotia is going to roll over and die. This is a long way to go because they can make some big plays too. But now, from an offensive point of view, Manitoba has got the defensive coordinator from Nova Scotia thinking twice about what he wants to run. And maybe they're going to have to be a little more aggressive and not run just a straight zone like that last one was that Manitoba picked apart for the big score.
De Rosa will kick the ball off here. Couple receivers back for Team Nova Scotia. Score now 7-0 Manitoba. And we'll see how Nova Scotia will answer back. Slaughter, taking the ball back at his own 25-yard line, and that is exactly where Team Nova Scotia will start off. 4:20 to go.
It was a good catch here. He actually stepped up, and the ball almost went over his head, but he had good hands to make that catch above his head. So Nova Scotia here, don't panic. You have lots of time. Get some first downs, move the ball, get a score at halftime. I think it's really important that Nova Scotia gets some points here of some kind, but they can't panic and try and start throwing the ball downfield deep and put themselves in a 2-and-out position.
First down and 10. And the ball thrown out the middle and caught.
There we go.
Wow. It wasn't a pretty spiral, but it works, and I think Team Nova Scotia is going to take it. Noah Banks right up the middle. First down.
I love those passes that are the slant passes over the middle, because if you can separate a defense and pull them apart with the way your receivers are lined up, it opens up this seam down the middle. And Gabriel, he stood in there, hung in there, got hit just as he threw it. But that was a great all-around play and pretty good coverage. That ball was threaded in there.
Another passing play here for Nova Scotia, and they're going to bomb this one deep. And, he had his man open, and Dante Gabrielli's not afraid to take a shot. He had his man there, Logan Walton, and just overthrew him.
When you're coaching quarterbacks and receivers and a quarterback breaks out of the pocket and the play is broken down, you teach your receivers, you break off your pattern. The deep guys can come back, and the guys who run in the shorter patterns can go deep. In this case, the receiver on that side, Walton, he stuttered a little bit and then went deep, and that little bit of a stutter cost him a step and a half. He could have had a real good chance of catching that ball.
And swallowed up here, and maybe even a turnover.
It's going to be a sack, but he was trying to make a throw there, and that was not a great decision of the quarterback. You could have. Luckily, the play was whistled down as the sack, but don't try and make a bad play and turn it into a terrible play. But that was good pressure by Manitoba's defensive line. They just came flying. They didn't really bring anybody. It was just the four. The middle linebacker came up right at the end and took on the running back, but that was just a hard pressure by Manitoba's front four and collapsed that pocket.
And based on what I've seen over the last 2 games, that's their strength here, Bill.
Yeah,
I mean, their front four has been great.
See, the punt returner's way back on this one.
And look at that. Short punt now. And it will bounce the other way right at the 54. It's set to by Jalen McDonald. Look at him run. And he's proven he's got some wheels. Jalen McDonald at the 40-yard line of Team Nova Scotia. So pretty much where the original line of scrimmage was for Nova Scotia is now going to be the new line of scrimmage for Team Manitoba, looking for more points.
And I think that's the first time so in the 2 games that McDonald's actually not had somebody in his face as soon as he caught a punt. He was able to have some space to run. Great discipline by Nova Scotia's punt team to get away from that ball as it was bouncing backwards and respect that 5-yard rule.
First down and 10. Miles Blatherick remains at quarterback here. Neufeld is right behind him. Pistol formation. Blatherick. He's going to throw this one deep. Does he have his man open? Contested. Caught. Touchdown, Manitoba.
Oh.
What a play.
Well, they had to take a shot. They did it. Not a complicated pattern. Just running that seam. If you catch a defense in a certain position, there's not going to be anybody there. That you put that safety having to come over, and I think that's obviously maybe a blown coverage because he was so wide open. But I think this ball went right through the safety's hands. Like it went off his hands and into the receiver's hands.
Oh, just a classic. Went off his hands and right into the hands of Dylan Tarek.
He was there to make the play. He came over and played in center field. He came over and made the play, and unfortunately it bounced off his hands into the receiver's hands.
And extra point coming up here for DeRosa. And that's unfortunate for Team Nova Scotia there that thought maybe they have an interception. Nope, it's in the hands of Tarek. And Team Manitoba has a commanding 14-0 lead here with 2:20 to go.
2 big plays. So both teams, both offensives came out. They started the first quarter. They played conservative, ball control, kind of running the game or ball control, passing game. And then they're starting to take a few deep shots. That's actually the first deep throw that either team's made. The other long plays were shorter throws that players took for big yards. But that's the first time a quarterback's gone way down the field with a big result. And a little bit of a breakdown of coverage, and just unfortunate for Nova Scotia to have that go through his hands.
I just been told by the chat in the YouTube channel that based on, I guess they saw a close-up replay, went off the head of the safety and into the hands of Dylan Tarek.
That's
so
even worse.
That's using your head, the old Jose Canseco play.
Yes.
Or the opposite of the David Tyree catch, one or the other. I'll let you guys figure out.
You have some great sports references. I
Yeah.
hope everybody can get those. The Jose Canseco one, I'm pretty sure.
That's more our age. That's more our age up there, yeah.
There's very few that are going to get that one. So please go out there, Google Jose Canseco ball off head, and then you will see that highlight somewhere.
It went off his head, and it was a home run. And he'll live with that for the rest of his life, unfortunately.
First down, Nova Scotia from their own 33.
So Team Nova Scotia rather, are going to send out Carter Cohen back at quarterback. Shotgun formation. 2:19 to go. Nova Scotia needs some points here to get some momentum back. Cohen, snap taken. Cohen, He's got a run and short dump. Ooh, dangerous looking pass too there from Cohen. Just gets the ball off. It's going to be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, you can't do that. You got to commit to the run, like Gabrielli did in the previous series. Just go. Just don't start running and then, I'm going to throw it now. No, just go. Either because he made the decision early on that drop back that, there's pressure, there's linebackers coming, I'm going to go, and then he kind of bailed on at the end. No, just put your head down and get the yards.
2nd down from their own 33. Cohen. Last thing Nova Scotia wants to do is send out that defense, and they are tired right now. Cohen again. Cohen. He is sacked. He is dropped. And once again, this Manitoba defense stands tall. Coming on a blitz is Tariq Ahmed. And Ahmed from Grant Park, a lot of Grant Park guys on this team, swallow up Cohen, and just like that, ball's going to be going right back to Team Manitoba.
Well, we've seen a shift here in this game, and the Manitoba defensive line is starting to take over. It was the first quarter, they were a little, Nova Scotia was getting them back on their heels in a few plays, getting some success running the ball, but Manitoba has made some adjustments defensively, maybe a bit in their scheme, or maybe the Manitoba players just deciding that, no, this isn't going to happen to me, I'm not going to get pushed around anymore for this game. But they have started to dominate the offensive line, and it's going to be a challenge for Nova Scotia to come up with something to break that domination and try and maybe get the ball a little more outside rather than run between the tackles.
Back to punt, high snap, trying to get the ball off. Ooh, it was an ugly delivery because he was being pushed and almost blocked. Jalen McDonald does get the ball, and he'll get it at the 49-yard line of Team Nova Scotia.
Running into the kicker, which is always a challenge for a defensive player when they see that there's a chance he could block it. There's a certain angle you've got to take to try and block a punt. You can't be running straight at the punter and try and block it, because if you don't get the ball, you end up getting the punter, and then that's a penalty.
And if you're Team Manitoba, you're going to definitely send out Miles Blatherick back. Last 2 plays were touchdowns.
Yeah.
And
he's
2 for 2 right now. I mean, are you going to take a shot again here?
Well, I'm not sure if this penalty is going to give Nova Scotia a first down or not. It depends on if they give them 15 yards or 5. They're just debating it right now with the Nova Scotia coaches. The Nova Scotia probably appealing for it to be a 15-yard penalty, which would give them a first down.
We'll turn up the volume here so you can hear the call from the head official.
Contacting the kicker, Manitoba, number 81. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay.
Okay, so yeah, 10 yards, so it's not enough, so that's where Manitoba's or Nova Scotia's got to give them the option of what are they going to do on 3rd down. Are they going to kick it again? They probably are.
And, you're only down by 2 scores. We're probably not in go for it range yet. Maybe if it's 4th quarter you would, but not in the first half.
And here they are.
Oh, never mind.
So Manitoba's still in punt formation, and then they called a timeout because they had the wrong people on the field.
So John Svek, he doesn't care what we think.
No.
Again, you have nothing to lose here. Why not go for it? Try and get your team some momentum, because potentially Manitoba could get the ball back. They could run the clock down and go back to the locker room 14-zip.
This is one of the unique situations in Canadian rules football. This is the perfect situation to run an onside kick, a little pooch punt. The quarterback lines up, but then he steps back about a few more yards, gets the snap. You got receivers on either side that are behind him when he kicks the ball, and he just punches it over the line of scrimmage towards the sidelines, maybe about 20, 25 yards down there, and then it's just a foot race with the wide receiver and the DB to get to it. That would be an interesting call, and certainly Canadian football allows for that call. I'd do it, but I do all sorts of weird things.
So 3rd down and 4 from the Nova Scotia 40. Cohen, he's going to pass, and broken up.
Oh.
And you can argue maybe there was a little bit of interference. Are we going to call that
Maybe.
good D, Bill? What'd you see?
I think that's a fine line, but he was right in there. The player did. We'll see it a little maybe on a replay there, but you got to make, in order for it to be pass interference, you got to at least make the catch. And I think this one just bounced off his hands. I think this is, I think it's good timing on the defense. Just there. Yeah.
From the Nova Scotia 41-yard line.
So, favorable field position after the turnover. Guess who? Miles Blatherwick back at quarterback here. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Players in motion. Jalen McDonald. It's a sweep. McDonald looking for room. Down the sideline, jukes, and then takes a hit, and he's out of bounds here. Short of a first down. We're going to have second down and what appears to be 5 yards here.
I think this is a part of the game where Manitoba, let's just run the ball, keep it on the ground, use up that clock. The clock is your friend. They're in field goal range right now. If they get another score of it, they're not going to do anything to challenge possession. They want to retain possession of this ball and keep it to the end of the, if they can, keep it to the end of the first half and score right at the end.
Pistol formation again for Blatherwick. And look at this. Are we going to see a rush play? We will. And it is actually second down and short, so I apologize for those of you watching on the stream. And it looked to me like Blatherwick's got the first down.
Good surge by the Manitoba offensive line to really, I think by the time Blatherwick got touched, he was already 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. So it was a good result for them, and that's how you run a quarterback sneak. Keep it real tight and have the quarterback just commit to go.
Got timeout taken here. Jason Park discussing options here with Miles Blatherwick. And for Team Manitoba, you'd love to just kill this clock, get some points, head into the locker room with a very well-executed first half of football for Team Manitoba.
It really is. They've performed well on the plays they've run, but I think the key for Manitoba is they made adjustments in that second quarter that really worked in their favor. They made some adjustments to free up their players offensively, protect their quarterback, and they made adjustments defensively to shut down the inside running game of Nova Scotia.
Manitoba out of the huddle here. Minute 50 to go. 1-5-0. First down and 10. Blatherwick. Again, electing to pass. He's going to hand it off. Running right through the trenches on the left side. And we have a flag on the play. We'll see what it's on. And I think it could possibly be either unsportsmanlike or something else going to, I think it's Toby Sakumbi. There was a little bit of wrestling going on there.
Yeah, it was after the play, and I didn't catch the numbers on that either. And I love the, you know, a guy doesn't touch the ball much during the game. When as soon as he gets it, he's got two hands on it. He is not let go of that ball. He's already prepared for the hit, and rumbled about 5 yards and still hadn't been tackled yet. I think it might have surprised him.
You know what? Head coach Jason Park may have said, "Hold on to the damn ball."
Protect the football. He certainly did that. It wasn't going anywhere.
And what's more important to Team Manitoba here?
It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. Second down.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch, ouch. That is a difficult penalty for Team Manitoba to take. That takes them out of field goal range.
Yep.
And so now, if you're Blatherwick, you're going to have to sling it here to get back past the original line of scrimmage and give your kicker enough space for a field goal.
Yeah, he's got to get at least another 10 yards here, I think, for a decent shot at a field goal. Once again, you know, we've seen over the past 2 days of competition a little too many undisciplined penalties like this.
Blatherwick in the pistol. Snap taken. He'll have time. He'll throw it. Almost intercepted, just in and out of the hands of Nathaniel Slaughter. And Manitoba will have to punt this ball away.
So Manitoba came up with an interesting formation. They had 4 receivers on the right side of the field, and they were just going everywhere. It looked, there was a fire drill over there. They were running crossing patterns, trying to spring somebody open, and that left the the defensive half on the right, on the defensive right side, the offensive left, it left him with nobody to cover. So he could just sit back there and play center field, and that's where he was able to jump in and almost intercept that because he didn't have any responsibilities.
DeRosa back to punt for Manitoba, trying to pin Nova Scotia deep. And it'll be a short kick, too. He didn't really give it much effort at all. It will drop right around the 25-yard line. Ball accepted and immediately taking a hit there from Neufeld. So it appears to me the ball will be placed at around the 33, 34-yard line.
Yeah, and they'll get another 5 yards for New Yards because of it bouncing backwards like that. So that's going to give Nova Scotia not bad field position. They've got to get at least, they've got to get about 40, 50 yards, at least 50 yards, I think, to give themselves a shot. So at a field goal. So the Nova Scotia hasn't thrown the ball deep intentionally. They've had a couple of scrambled plays where quarterbacks have rolled out and tried to go deep, but Manitoba's going to be playing a little bit deeper. So for me, Nova Scotia, try and hit those guys coming in over top of the linebackers, about 15, 20 yards down the field.
Snap taken, caught, and nowhere to really run there. But hey, positive yardage. Nova Scotia will take it. Nice little catch there by, it appears to me that was number 83, Mackay Maglor. But it will be second down here for Team Nova Scotia, who just needs positive yardage.
Yep.
Clock now becoming the enemy here.
Manitoba will let them catch those passes all day. They'll let them catch them all day. So kudos to Nova Scotia for taking what they're giving you.
Snap taken, short dump right up the middle. It's going to be a first down here for Nova Scotia. Dangerous looking play, but it's going to work.
What made that work was, yes, the quarterback decided to run, but he didn't hesitate in his decisions. He quickly said, "No, here," and you could see that the running back who stepped up was open, and you can see on the highlight, he says, quickly, boom, he's looking right at him the whole way. So he didn't throw it to him out of desperation.
So timeout here for Nova Scotia. They got something here. 51 seconds to go. Ball close to midfield, or ball almost at midfield. You know, we're looking at options. Who do you get the ball to? One guy I want to point out, we talked about this before the game, is the matchup between the Manitoba defensive line and Nova Scotia offensive line. Complete mismatch in size.
Yeah.
One person, though, I want to point out, number 60 on Nova Scotia, the big man, Andrew Johnson. That guy is a mammoth out there. You'll spot him with the gold helmet, and it almost seems like he's 5 years older than the rest of the offensive linemen for Nova Scotia.
Well, at 6'6", 280, and that's a big dude for this level. That's a big guy. But
and that's a guy that Carter Cohen wants protecting his blind side, so he's not complaining at all. Cohen back to pass, escapes pressure. He's going to run out of the pocket, right side, flags everywhere, and he's pushed out at midfield. We're going to see this play come back, though. I think it's going to be a hold. It will.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold. I was looking downfield at when the quarterback broke out, and you can see the Nova Scotia receivers were continuing to run down the field. Meanwhile, the quarterback's running for their life. Man, you can't do that. You got to stop and come back. There was a big opening in the middle that Nova Scotia could have taken advantage of. I saw Ryan Hennick at 81 was going down the middle of the field. If he just stops up, he's sitting all by himself, and he's giving his quarterback an option to throw to. Would have been wiped out because of the penalty anyway. But as a coaching point, you're going to say to these kids, hey, you can't just keep running down the field when the quarterback's running for his life. He's not be able to get to that ball. You got to come back and give him a hand.
So it'll be first down and very long here. And this is where Nova Scotia, getting these little 5-yard dumps isn't going to work. You're going to need to throw the ball 10 yards plus here. Cohen in the shotgun. Snap taken. Again, it's another short dump and a drop. And Maglor's going to want that one back.
Yeah, that's a classic. You turned your head when you didn't watch the ball into your hands, and he was looking for the sidelines and trying to get out of bounds. But you got to catch the ball first. That's a classic receiver mistake.
And apologies to the Maglor family. It's Mackay Maglor is the proper phonetics, proper pronunciation on his last name. Second down and very long here. We'll see what Nova Scotia does. It's another short pass. This time it's caught by McGlure, but short of the first down here with 33 seconds remaining. Nova Scotia coaching staff, John Svek, not wasting any time. He's going to send out the punt unit.
Yeah, he said, it's all that Manitoba was giving them. They weren't really giving them anything any further than 10 or 15 yards down the field, so they were never really had a chance to get a first down unless the player can make the catch and then break a couple of tackles.
Clock ticking away. Nova Scotia trying to burn as much of it as possible here. And with 20 seconds remaining, ball high up in the air. It's set by Jalen McDonald. Nice catch by McDonald, immediately met by Nova Scotia defenders. No flags there for no yards.
That's nice for a change.
And Manitoba will start the ball here with 16 seconds to go. More than likely just run the ball twice and head back to the locker room.
Yeah, they'll make it safe here and just get in and give these guys a rest and start playing for the second half, and we'll see who can make the adjustments at halftime, because this game is pretty close. I mean, it's 14-0, but I don't think Nova Scotia is out of this game at any means. They're in this ball game.
Blatherwick is in the pistol. Neufeld to run it. Again, an awkward delivery. And look at this. Neufeld's got some positive yardage here. Clock stopped at 9 seconds, and now the ball is in Nova Scotia territory. Bill Long, if you're the coach on Team Manitoba, what's the call here?
Well, they've called a timeout to think about it. I think you've got to get yourself probably the line of scrimmage inside the 40. So you're going to need 15 yards here. You could take a shot and then get the field goal unit out to try and bump this up to 17.
You got Miles Blatherwick. He's got a very good arm.
Mm-hmm.
If his offensive line can give him the protection here, maybe even throw one of those long balls, maybe hope for a penalty.
Hope for something like that.
The old Carson Wentz Indianapolis Colts play.
The one thing you have to watch out is you've only got 9 seconds, so that's one short play and a second play, or one long play. So you can't have a runner. Quarterback can't be running around. It's either make up your mind or throw it away. So they've got that 4 receiver set to the wide right again. I think they're taking a shot.
There is one tall receiver on the bottom of your screen here. Blatherwick avoids pressure. Blatherwick, he is going to throw it. It is almost caught, and that would have been the play that they needed to. 2 seconds remaining, because if they caught that and quickly got out of bounds, I think that would have been enough for one more play inside the 30. Instead, 2 seconds remaining, ball spotted at the 54.
That was well executed by Blatherwick. He's watching him. He steps up, but he keeps his eyes downfield. He's looking downfield, and he floats it out to the right now. That's a situation, though, if the receiver catches, if he makes the catch, does he go out of bounds right away, or does he try to score? Because if he tries to score and he doesn't get it, then the half ends. That was a very well done play by Blatherwick. He did everything right there.
Snap taken, and just a short little pass, and a short catch and run by Team Manitoba. Brady Fay, the big man. And that's going to do it for the first half. Team Manitoba, 14-0. You wouldn't know it with that first quarter, though. Team Manitoba really struggled in the first quarter. Team Nova Scotia, if anything, had the opportunities.
Yes.
But like you said, great adjustments by Jason Park.
There was great adjustments, and 2 big plays that for scoring plays for Manitoba are the difference. But this game is much, much closer than 14-0. I think this is maybe like a 7-3 game is really what this should be based on. Nova Scotia had the ball deep and then had the turnover, and they had an opportunity to score. So it'll be interesting in the second half, but I think that this game isn't over yet. The first 5 minutes of the third quarter are going to be key.
We're going to take a 10-minute break, and then it's on to the second half. The score after 2 quarters. Team Manitoba 14, Team Nova Scotia 0. You're listening and you're watching to the Canada Cup live from the Apple Bowl in sunny Kelowna, British Columbia.
We also like to remind you as you're up and about at halftime that the 50-50 tickets are available from our friends at Sunrise Rotary. They have a table just located inside the main entrance gate. Pick up your 50-50 tickets. The final draw will be held on Sunday evening, July 17th during the gold medal game. All proceeds going to the Okanagan Sun football. To start the second half, Manitoba will receive the kickoff, defending the south end zone. Nova Scotia kicking off in the defending this north end zone.
And welcome back inside the Apple Bowl. 14-0 for Team Manitoba. My name is Chase Johnston, the new broadcaster of the Okanagan Sun CJFL team, as well as the Director of Business Development and Communications with the West Kelowna Warriors, Jalen McDonald. Will bring the ball back, and that's where Team Manitoba will start the ball with a 2-touchdown lead. And your recap after the first half, couple touchdown catches from Team Manitoba, but really the story was the efficiency out of the two quarterbacks.
Yeah, collectively they were 8 of 10. Not a lot of passes thrown, but 8 of 10 for 160 some odd yards. And they really took advantage and went deep a couple of times. One big long play for 90, but we'll see if they're going to continue that or if they're going to take advantage of the fact they got a 14-0 lead and maybe run the ball a little bit to start and keep Nova Scotia on their heels.
Lathrowick back in at quarterback. And they're going to run the ball up the middle, positive yardage, and then some. Rumbling, tumbling, look at the swashbuckler go. It's Joshua Farber. And for Farber, he hasn't really done much. In fact, I believe that was actually his first or second carry of the football game.
Well, that's what Manitoba want to do. They say, we're going to. Obviously, they're coming out saying we're going to run the ball and set the tone there, get our offensive linemen rolling downhill, as they say, and a great start for them because now that opens up maybe play action pass because Nova Scotia is going to be thinking, oh, it's first down, here comes a run. We'll see what Manitoba does now.
First down and 10 again, and once again they're going to run it back with Farber. This time a short gain, but an effective gain, and it will be second down.
Yeah, 2nd and 6. Now Nova Scotia is in a position where, okay, what's Manitoba going to do? Because they've shown right now that running the ball at 2nd and 5 is certainly not outside of the realm of possibility.
I was just going to say I ran into Jason Park downstairs there, and I said, great first half, coach, and he said, you got a lot of work to do. 2 scores just isn't enough to seal the deal here in this sport.
I think he's correct in that assumption.
Another sweet play. It's Jalen McDonald, and Jalen McDonald just gets crushed. And I mean crushed. I felt that one from up here in the broadcast booth. We've seen him throw a couple beauty hits. Linebacker Chase Krause from Parkview Education Center.
That was a tremendous read by the linebacker to scrape in behind the defensive lineman, come up and see the hole, and just lower the pads and hit him right in the midsection. Big stop for Nova Scotia. They really couldn't afford to let Manitoba grind out too much of a drive here to start this third quarter. As I said at the end of the first half, the first 5 minutes of this third quarter can really set the tone.
Punt up and away. Little high snap there. And the ball will scoot past Nova Scotia. They finally get the ball back and tackled down. Not what Nova Scotia wanted there, and the flags stay in the pockets of the officials.
Because he went to field the ball and scooted past him, but he must have touched it because he scrambled after it in a hurry. And once he touched it, of course, then the 5-yard rule doesn't apply, and it's a free ball for anybody.
So, Team Nova Scotia will have to go back. It's Ryder Hennick who couldn't handle that punt. And it's going to cost Team Nova Scotia here. First down and 10 from their own 25-yard line. 9:40 to go here in quarter number 3. Carter Cohen in at quarterback. Shotgun formation. Snap taken. Short pass, and not a lot of it. Now I think we're going to see a penalty, and I think it's going to be, has to be Tariq Ahmed
No.
for roughing the passer or unnecessary roughness. I don't know what the call would be.
It looked like intentional grounding, but I'm not sure what he called there.
Well, he had a receiver within 5 yards.
Roughing the passer, sorry, no. Yeah.
Number 97, 15-yard penalty, automatic first
Yeah,
down.
that was unnecessary. I mean, Manitoba brought 4 players and they made some pressure, but Tariq Ahmed, there was no reason to come by after the play and then run over the quarterback. The ball was already in the dirt.
First down and 10 for Nova Scotia once again. Short pass. It's McGlure. McGlure looking to escape pressure, but a short gain there. And another flag on the play. And I think it's going to go on McGlure here.
Yeah, there's
Things are getting a little dicey and a little chippy now.
wide receiver screen that trying to get the guy the ball to get him down the field and get some play action, get some more yards out of it. But as my own editorial aside comment, these penalties that we're seeing that are unsportsmanlike penalties, these roughing penalties, that's just an attitude adjustment that needs to be made. That's just being really disrespectful. That play there was just being disrespectful to your opponent and saying something to him, and the gesture that he made to the player on the sidelines was highly unnecessary.
The ugly part of that is all the scouts watching that. They're going to remember little plays like that. And now it's second down and very long. Pass up the middle, caught!
Great.
Oh my goodness, that is a first down. That is a 18-yard reception. And we've seen Banks make some big plays for Team Nova Scotia. That one of the biggest.
That's exactly the same play that he made a catch on in the first half. Running that seam pattern as the inside receiver on the left side and just bends a little bit to get it away from the safety, over top of the linebackers. Cohen made a fantastic throw.
Carter Cohen takes the snap again. Another short pass. It's McGlure. And tried to escape the tackle, holding on to him with dear life.
Oh, there's some beacon going on now. They know that they're getting under McGlure's skin.
Yeah.
And Manitoba is going to start picking at him and try and goad him into another unnecessary penalty. But they're getting right in his face. There's some trash talking going on there. And I always appreciated good trash talk.
That was actually the kicker, DeRosa, with the shoestring tackle on McGlure. And we're going to have second down near midfield here. 7:47 to go. Cohen takes a snap. Another short dump. Another catch. And we are going to see a flag on the play. Here is an interesting flag. Is it going to move ahead or is it going to move back? It's either one or the other here because it's right towards the offensive lineman. Nobody's really celebrating on either side, so I think there is a little uncertainty on who's it going to be.
First down, Nova Scotia.
No infraction on the play. First down.
There
No
you go.
penalty.
So you were right. Because I didn't see what the penalty was either.
Yeah, and we're going to see another first down here for Team Nova Scotia. So this is arguably their best drive of the football game. We got an injured player down the field, one of the offensive linemen, I want to say. No, that's actually one of their top receivers, Aries Perry. And you know that guys like John Sveck don't want to see Perry out of the game.
And that's a heads-up play by Perry. He knew that he had some issue going on, whether he had something he had tweaked. He could have trotted off the field, but by going down on a knee, he allows the teams to, his own team to compose, and he allows his coaching staff to make a substitution. And so that was a really heads-up play by Perry to just take a knee, let the trainer come out, and then go off the field, and now the team can make a proper substitution and have time to do that.
Ball on the Manitoba 46. Cohen, first down and 10 from the gun. He's going to run the ball up the middle. He's got some room. Can he get blockers? And a positive gain now inside the 40 at the 39-yard line. It's a 7-yard tumble from Carter Cohen, and here we go. Second and manageable coming up.
I love the chess game. I love the chess game between an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, and Manitoba making adjustments. Now Nova Scotia has made some adjustments and come up with a little bit different game plan the second half, throwing some short passes, spreading the defense out a little bit to give their quarterback some more room and open up some running lanes for him.
Another shotgun formation here. Aries Perry still getting looked at on the sideline. Snap taken. Again, are we going to see them run? Short pass. There is a flag on the play. Is it going to be a hold? I believe so. So this play will come back. It was a positive gain for a first down, but it won't matter. As Nova Scotia is going to get called here for hold.
Cohen making the decision to throw, and he just went to his outlet
10-yard penalty.
player, the running back there, who just leaked out to the left because Cohen was going to run, but he had nowhere to go. So he knew that he had a guy he could dump it to.
We want to welcome those of you watching on the YouTube stream, all the way from places like Cole Harbour, Halifax, to places like Brandon, Manitoba. And of course, greater Winnipeg, where a majority of the players in this team are located. Cohen escapes pressure. Wide open on the right side. Nova Scotia's got a first down, and then more. Coming in at the biggest catch of the game for Nova Scotia, Hayden Murray.
Well, here you're going to see where, because the quarterback breaks out of the pocket and scrambles off to his right, the defense completely let their players that they're responsible for go. They got all excited to come up and pressure the quarterback, and they forgot about 84. Murray, who was just standing back there, minding his own business, hiding on the sidelines. That's a breakdown of discipline on the defense.
So here we go. First down and 10 here from the 18-yard line. First red zone possession for Team Nova Scotia all morning. And Cohen going to pass, and pocket collapses. He's going to run up the middle. Another positive gain, and you know what? Nova Scotia's going to take it, but here we go. Carter Cohen's been taking some hits here on this drive.
In the last game against Saskatchewan, both Nova Scotia quarterbacks didn't have any fear in pulling the ball down and running it. And they're showing that again today. The difference now between the first half when they did that and the second half is they've spread the Manitoba defense apart so their quarterbacks have much more room to run and get some positive yards. Because right now their quarterbacks are picking up probably about 5 or 6 or 7 yards of carry.
Snap taken. Cohen again. Escapes pressure. Going to throw it wide right. Oh, he had McGlure and just overthrew him. I don't think it would have been enough for McGlure to get in the end zone, but it would have been enough for maybe close to a first round. And now what do you do here? Are you just taking the points if you're Nova Scotia?
I think you need to have a positive result from that drive. You need to get some points here. And on this last play, McGlure was running a slant pattern to the inside, but when the quarterback broke out, McGlure did the right thing and broke it out to the sidelines. He just couldn't quite get to the space that the quarterback threw it to. But you know, this is important here. I think their kicker is he got one blocked earlier in the game because he just tried too hard, kick it too far. But his kickoffs have been tremendous. It's important for Nova Scotia to get some points here and have a real result from the end of a really good drive.
Declan Oss from 20 yards out. And that one went all the way into the lake here in the Okanagan. That ball went all the way over the fence outside of the Apple Bowl. I just watched that thing bounce over the fence, over the electrical boxes. That would have been enough for about 45 yards.
Oh, he had lots of leg on it, and you teach kickers to always kick the ball exactly the same way. So when I was coaching here, and I remember players like Jason Atwood kicking, and I said to Woody, Woody, when you're kicking an extra point at this end, you want to hit the scoreboard. That's your target. There's a scoreboard way back there. Because you can't say, oh, I'm just going to kick it 25 or 20 yards. No, you kick them exactly the same, whether they're from 10 yards or 50 yards.
So Manitoba will try and answer back. Score now 14-3 with Nova Scotia on the board. And you better believe Miles Blathwick back at quarterback for Team Manitoba. Pistol formation, snap taken. They're going to more than likely run it here right up the middle. And it appears to me that's Joshua Farber. And Farber's got a gain of a couple, more than a couple.
And now Manitoba's going to look and say, okay, the clock is our friend. We're going to run the ball. They're doing very well running between the tackles in the second half. They've had a lot of success. Putting yourself in 2nd and 5 is a really good spot to be. They could do anything right now, maybe a play action pass. I wouldn't be surprised to see him run that jet sweep again.
Well, the guy it's right up the middle and linebacker right now is Chase Krause. He's going to have his eyes right on the tailback for Manitoba. But look at this. Manitoba going to run the ball at their quarterback up the middle. Dangerous play here. And they're taken down. Positive yardage, so it's not a sack, but not enough for the first down. Manitoba will have to punt this ball back into the hands of Nova Scotia.
That was a big play. That was a big play by Nova Scotia as Langille and Summer and Gallant and Wheelock, the defensive line for Nova Scotia, really put, there only just the 4 of them, really put pressure on that quarterback, and he had no alternative but to pull it down and try and get some yards. But the linebackers had all stayed home and were able to close in on him very quickly and shut him down to just a 2-yard gain.
We have an injured player on the Nova Scotia sideline, or on the middle of the field for Nova Scotia. That was just an ugly doggy pile right there where Miles Blathwick rushed into, and there was numerous jerseys on both sides colliding, and that's a recipe for disaster there.
Yeah,
Bill.
there's always a possibility somebody gets an arm or a leg stuck underneath there that is going to get rolled up on.
So we will let you know there is other games on here this afternoon. Temperature is supposed to rise up to about 34, 35 degrees. A little bit warmer today compared to Tuesday. Too early to kind of forecast Sunday's championship day. They were calling for thunder showers earlier in the week. I believe that's changed to just rain. However, you know, that we're still 3 or 4 days out from that, so just pay attention for the updates. It rarely rains in the Okanagan, although we've had a pretty wet spring this year.
Yeah.
That's been good for many reasons. Of course, this area known for forest fires, and this has probably been the best summer I've had here in regards to fire watch since I moved to the Central Okanagan 5 years ago.
Well, I've lived here a long time, and I don't recall the hills still being green this time of year. That's always, they're usually burnt brown by the time middle of July rolls around.
Back to punt here is Francesco De Rosa.
Oh, here we go.
And they're going to go with a fake. They're going to run up the middle. It's Farber, and Manitoba's got the first down. No flags on the play.
I love that. I love that call. Just a short snap to the up back. Nova Scotia wasn't looking for it. They're thinking, oh, Manitoba's going to be very conservative, punt the ball away. Manitoba's thinking, nah, let's take it, because Nova Scotia really had a positive offensive drive previously. Let's keep the ball away from them. That was beautifully done, beautifully executed.
And it's first down and 10 for Team Manitoba. 2:45 to go here in the third quarter. Blathwick in the pistol. And, whoa, miscommunication maybe. Still gets the ball off to, I think, Farber once again with positive yardage. We'll have second down and long.
So Manitoba's going to stick with their game plan now, running on first down, see what they can get for yards. They cranked out another 4 or 5 yards there, puts them in a situation, as I've said several times, where they have multiple options as what they can do, and puts the pressure on Nova Scotia's defense as to they have to defend both the run and the pass now.
Ball spotted at, I believe, the 33-yard line of Team Nova Scotia. Maybe too long for a field goal here, but interesting to see if it's going to be 3 downs. Blathwick, nice catch down the sideline, very close to a first down. Making the reception there is Ron Prinn, and we'll see where they spot it. That looks to me like it's a first down.
The advantage the receiver had was he was able to see the marker he had to get to. play action pass look where Blatherwick was looking downfield. You could tell by the way he was looking that he wasn't going to hand that ball off. He pulled it down. Nova Scotia had collapsed thinking that it was going to be a running play. Going back to what I said, where it puts that defense in a position where they could run or pass. Now they're trying to defend both. So play action pass was a great call by Manitoba at that point.
Ron Print is hurt there as he got tackled awkwardly on the sideline. So athletic therapist taking a look.
I think he kind of hurt himself actually making the cut before he even got hit. He kind of looked like he stumbled a little bit there. Might have tweaked an ankle or a knee.
We're expecting a good crowd here this evening for Team BC versus Team Nova Scotia, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time for that game. We also got some other games coming up next. We got Team Saskatchewan in action. At 4 p.m. we have Team Alberta versus Team Quebec. And pardon me, Team Saskatchewan versus Team Ontario. That's going to be a great game. That's actually coming up next.
I'm looking forward to that one. I think Saskatchewan's going to have all they can handle with Ontario in that game. Ontario, especially from the quarterback position, they're solid. But Saskatchewan's just so fundamentally sound. But it's going to be a dogfight, that one.
Minute 45 to go here in the third quarter. Manitoba getting ready to snap the ball here. Blatherwick remains in quarterback. Why not? He's had a great game here this morning. Neufeld, the tailback here. It's been a while since we've seen him. Just continuing to limp off the sideline here. There we are. Blatherwick takes a snap. Oh, and it's going to be a draw. I think that was intended draw, and I think Blatherwick just got sacked. It's going to be a loss of a couple.
Wheelock stayed home and wasn't buying any of it. He was tangling with the offensive lineman, and Blatherwick, whether it was a design play, because he wasn't really looking at doing anything else other than running it, and he just picked. He should have zigged when he should have zagged. He went left, and the seam was actually more up the middle.
Second down and long coming up here as we approach the final minute of quarter number 3.
Manitoba has to. They also need to score. They need to get that 14-point buffer back at least.
Blatherwick back to pass. He drops back. Look out. Under pressure. Oh, and he almost threw the football. And we're going to see a penalty on Team Nova Scotia. Roughing the passer is going to be the call. Coming on the blitz was Hunter Ryan for Nova Scotia. Completely untouched. And that's a tough one, Bill. I mean, I thought for sure that'd be an okay penalty or an okay non-call.
Well, there's a fine line. They're really picky on how much time you have between when a quarterback releases the ball. You can see right at this play, Nova Scotia shifted, threw Manitoba off, and it's not so much the hit on the quarterback. I think it's the way he hit him, because he got his arm around him just when he released the ball, so that was fine. But then he carried through with it and threw him to the ground, and I think that's what they penalized him for.
So first down inside the red zone is Manitoba. Blatherwick. He's going to go to the end zone here. Dangerous play, and too much coverage there from Team Nova Scotia. Jalen McDonald trying to create some separation.
Trying to create some separation. We got a flag down again. The line judge threw it on the left side, and I think it's against maybe a defensive offside. He was pointing, I think, to the Nova Scotia side. Yeah. The cornerback for Nova Scotia had come up to play a press coverage against the receiver, and in doing so actually crossed the line of scrimmage. Or pardon me, not crossed it, but was within the 1 yard zone that he had to be away from the ball. So it's hard to see from a corner.
So first down and 5 here from the 8-yard line of Nova Scotia. Blatherwick in the pistol. Takes a snap. Here comes Neufeld. Neufeld rushing up the middle. Can he get there? Look at the second effort from Neufeld. Touchdown, Manitoba. The young man wants it. And Manitoba has restored the large lead. They're back up 20-3 pending, or 21-3 pending this extra point.
Manitoba going back to their strength, which is that offensive line between the tackles. They've had a lot of success in the second half and nothing fancy there. Let's just get the big boys rolling downhill. And Neufeld just on the 3-4 yard line, he got his first contact and he just said, "Nah, I'm not stopping." And he rolled off of it and struggled in the end zone. That's good effort. But once again, Manitoba's offensive line is setting the tone for the second half.
And we didn't see too much of Austin Neufeld there in the second half. We saw a lot more of Joshua Farber, but he comes in here in this series, very effective. And just like that, 21-3 with 1 second remaining in the third quarter.
This is a very close and competitive game. The thing that's really hurt Nova Scotia was a couple of big plays and penalties. Penalties have really, really taken momentum away from them. They went from what should have been maybe a longer field goal attempt to a short field now after that roughing the passer penalty. So it's unfortunate for Nova Scotia because I think that they're a much better team than 21-3. I think these two teams are pretty even.
And just costly mistakes from Team Nova Scotia. And you can argue they were the better team in that first quarter.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Kickoff underway. Slaughter takes it back, trying to escape a tackle. Won't go that far, just past the 30-yard line. And that's going to do it for quarter number 3. Team Manitoba taking a commanding 21-3 lead as we head into the final quarter of football. And, for Team Nova Scotia, they don't want to be playing in that last place game. Whereas Team Manitoba, I know that they're going to be excited to maybe they could possibly get that rematch that they're looking for, or they wouldn't be getting a rematch rather, but they'd be playing, one of the better teams in that BC versus New Brunswick game tonight.
Yeah, playing in the for a battle to try and get into the top 4, the top 6. I think is what they get into if they can win here today. And Nova Scotia's got to claw back somehow. They're going to have to score quickly. And this means that Manitoba knows that. They're going to play off a little softer on their coverages. It's going to mean that Nova Scotia is going to have to, if they're going to throw the ball, they're going to throw the shorter passes, possession passes, and that's just going to take time. And time is Manitoba's friend and Nova Scotia's enemy. So if Nova Scotia can score quickly here and get themselves to within 2 scores, then it could make this interesting. But they're going to have to do it in a real hurry, and they haven't really shown the ability to throw the ball deep. They haven't tried to throw the ball deep yet because every time Colin Carter stepped back, he's had pressure and he hasn't been able to look that far downfield and try and get a receiver who's downfield. They had the one big play earlier to Murray that was a bit of a broken coverage. I can't see a broken coverage happening in the way Manitoba's going to play their defense for the remainder of this game.
So, fourth quarter underway here. Carter Cohen remains in at quarterback for Team Nova Scotia. Trying to get their defense a rest, also trying to get some points back on the board. Nova Scotia still looking for their first touchdown of the game. Cohen out of the gun. Takes a snap, short pass to the right side, positive yardage. And it will be second down and about 6 here for Nova Scotia as the clock ticks away here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Cohen is really just making the right decision. He's just taking what they give him, but that's all that they're going to give him is that they can catch 30 of those in a row, and it's not going to make a difference in the score.
Shotgun formation again. Another snap taken, and just missed his target. And that is the receiver, Aries Perry. And unfortunately for Nova Scotia, they're going to have to punt this one away.
It's a tough throw to make on that slant, especially if the linebackers are getting in the way of the quarterback. The quarterback doesn't have what's called a throwing lane. He can't see, so he's got to throw the ball where the only place he can get it, but that was not where the receiver was. So the receiver is a little too far inside.
Back to punt this one up is Declan Oss. And that's a good-looking punt there from Oss. Way back at his own 40 is Jalen McDonald. McDonald elects to run right. Now he's going to change direction, try and run up the middle. Oh, what a juke by Jalen McDonald. We have a flag on the play. McDonald going not one side, but the other side of the field. And now we got some wrestling completely away from the ball. We got to clean up the laundry on the field first, see what's coming up here with this flag.
That'll be probably a block in the back against Manitoba. Anytime a return man completely changes his direction, it puts his blockers on the wrong side, and they thought they had a clean block. As soon as that defender turns away from him, now they got him in the back. So that's most likely what's going to be. So a illegal block in the back. Especially, this isn't too bad. He's turning out right, but right there to go completely back 180 degrees, yeah, you're going to have people getting pushed in the back on that one.
Ooh, 15-yard penalty, so ball will come back, way back in Manitoba territory here, 10:51 to go. And this has Austin Neufeld written all over it, this drive here. Get the ball running, kill more of that clock.
I would be shocked if this was anything else other than a run between the tackles.
First down and 10.
And I'm shocked.
Blatherwick back to pass. We're going to have offside here on Manitoba, so the play is going to come back. Tackle down for a short gain on the play is Eric Martins, who really set things up with that first touchdown of the game. Great catch and run, but unfortunately it will be first down and 15 unless Nova Scotia elects to decline. And I think I would too.
Well, they're going to push him back. So I'm going to resist making any play predictions for the remainder of the game.
Leave that to me, because it doesn't matter if I'm wrong, Bill.
I have been summarily put in my place. I'm just going to not try and do that again.
And it's an interesting call. Instead of it being maybe second down and 8, it's now first down and 15. Blatherwick, are we going to see a run here?
Don't ask me. I'm unqualified to make that decision.
And blitzed and drilled was Blatherwick. Ball up towards Neufeld, incomplete. Wow. Nova Scotia brought the house there.
They did, and now Manitoba has played this right into Nova Scotia's hands by throwing the ball and not running it and using the clock.
Look at this hit. We got to check this hit out. The linebackers from Nova Scotia have been having a lot of fun today. I got to say that. I mean, that was one of the backup linebackers too, Patrick Mullen.
Yeah, he was wide open, and he drilled the quarterback just as he threw the ball. The difference between that play and the one earlier in Nova Scotia was he didn't throw the quarterback to the ground.
Empty formation here. Blatherwick, short dump, and wanting that catch back. And I mean back was Brady Fay. Although that would have been a tough catch make. He had a couple of blue jerseys around him, so he wouldn't have gotten far. Regardless, Manitoba is going to punt this ball back to Nova Scotia here with 9:45 to go in the game.
And Nova Scotia couldn't ask for a better series than that. Manitoba got away from what got them there, and by throwing the ball, but they only used up 35 seconds off the clock from when they first got the ball in 3 plays. A huge bit of advantage for Nova Scotia here if they can get this ball back and try and get a score out of it quickly.
9:30 to go and counting. Punt away. McGlure waiting back to receive. He'll grab it. He's going to try and go right. Flag on the play. It's going to be no yards again. So the ball will be placed at around the 50 of Nova Scotia. We'll see who's coming out. I was looking at the Nova Scotia bench, and I thought that Dante Gabrielli was working out there, and it appears that he is now in at quarterback.
I've noticed that teams are still trying to give their quarterbacks as close to a 50-50 split as they can. All these teams, whether they're ahead or behind, they've got good players, and these players need to play and develop. And I don't think there's much to choose between Gabrielli and Cohen anyway, as as quarterbacks, and their ability to run. And because that's, I think, going to be a key if Gabrielli can scramble and get some yards.
Gabrielli takes a low snap, and he tries to bomb it. Batted, picked off, and the Manitoba defensive line with an exclamation point. Touchdown.
Well, I mean, that's just
that's your guy, Jerome Folliard.
Yeah, he had a great game earlier, and that's I even kind of lost for words on that one, where the defensive lineman come around getting a hand up, so the ball just flips up in the air out of the quarterback's hand and then falls into the defender's hands, and that's boy, Nova Scotia has just had terrible luck. If they make a mistake, it's cost them a touchdown every time this game. That's too bad.
Extra point underway here for Francesco De Rosa. And what a response from Team Manitoba compared to Tuesday's game against Ontario.
Yeah, they've been pretty solid the entire game. They've had a few maybe a couple little tweaks and bumps, but from really the start of the second quarter on, Manitoba's been a pretty solid team, mainly on the way that their offensive and defensive lines have played.
Fans are starting to get into it now. These are, I believe, the Manitoba fans chanting Toba. And you can see the Manitoba bench now getting into it. Look at that. Look at the fans here in the Apple Bowl. They're trying to sit in as much of the shaded part of the Apple Bowl as possible. They just showed them on the screen.
I don't blame them. It's not getting any cooler out.
And this means no disrespect to the province of Manitoba, but I think the families of all the players are thrilled to be spending a full week in Kelowna. And we see what I thought was an onside kick. I don't know what was going on there.
He just missed it.
And just De Rosa not really happy with himself there.
He was trying to put it in probably what they've done the past few kicks, where he's just trying to chip it down to around the 20-yard line off to one side and then let it sit there because there's no return person over there. And so he just tried to chip it over there, and then they'd cover it from that point, and he just missed the kick.
So favorable field position for Team Nova Scotia here. They're down by 25 points. And that is well more than 3 scores here. So pretty much every drive is going to be 3 down for now on here, Bill Long. Shotgun formation. And they're going to go with a short run, and it isn't working at all.
Well, when a defense is allowed to pin their ears back and say, we know what you have to do, we're just coming after you, it's going to make the rest of this game a little bit long for Nova Scotia. So they're going to have to be super creative on how to get some open space for their skilled players and give their quarterback some time.
Second down and long. Dante Gabrielli. He needs to get the ball out here. 7:40 to go. He's going to rush right, and he's sacked. And guess who? It's Jerome Folliard once again making plays on that Manitoba front four.
That's that's been the difference. Just the consistent play by the front four of Manitoba, who've given Nova Scotia some yards. They had some series there in the second quarter where they were giving up some yards, and then they've kind of shut them down since then. Nova Scotia hasn't really been able to threaten much.
And so Nova Scotia way too far here to go for it. Are just going to punt this ball back. Jalen McDonald to receive, and he's got room here. Can Jalen McDonald turn on the Jets? He avoids one tackle, escapes another. Down the right sideline now is Jalen McDonald trying to find a hole, and he'll give the Manitoba offense some great field position here. Ball spotted at the 52 of Nova Scotia.
So I'm not going to try and predict what the first play is for Manitoba. I'm not going to say I'm going to be shocked at anything.
Austin Neufeld's going to be pulled out of the game. Jalen McDonald also pulled out of the game. Blatherwick remains in at quarterback. Farber will be the running back here for Manitoba. He's been effective. Pistol formation. Again, they don't run it. Blatherwick's going to pass here. Incomplete. And I know I have a lot of young listeners watching. This is sort of like you're playing the game Madden, you're blowing out your opponent, but yet you're still not throwing the ball. You're still passing pass because it's just more fun to do. But if you're the head coach, I mean, Jason Park, I mean, what are you doing right now? Are you trying to maybe keep your running backs healthy for Sunday and forcing Blatherwick to throw? Maybe you're just trying to get him some more momentum and rhythm heading into Sunday. Like, what's the thought process from the coach?
I don't know. I don't really have an answer. It's just going to do what you do. You're just ignoring the score, but really, if you want to, keep the game simple, just run the ball and let the clock run and run. If you want to protect the health of your players, run as few plays as possible.
And on second and long, they just run it. So, just a bit of a head-scratching drive, or series rather. And Nova Scotia will get the ball back. Dante Gabrielli appears to be the guy ready to take another series. DeRosa is back to punt. McGlure, the deep man. And nice looking punt there from Manitoba. Bounces at the 25. It's accepted at the 23 by McGlure. McGlure, he needs some room, just doesn't have the speed. And Jalen McDonald takes down McGlure. We do have a flag on the play here. And I don't know if it's enough for no yards. Maybe it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
This will be 5 yards.
.5:45 to go in the fourth quarter. Dante Gabrielli is in at quarterback once again. Running back Aiden Rosong. Gabrielli throws it, and are they going to say catch? Yeah, catch, and then immediately blow it dead. He had his knee down as he made the catch. And that is Logan Walton, I believe, making his first catch of the football game.
Well, that's all Manitoba's going to give them is the short passes. So Nova Scotia's going to take it, but I just think for their own confidence, they've got to start throwing the ball downfield. But then again, the front four of Manitoba isn't giving the quarterback from Nova Scotia that much time to look to their second receiver downfield.
And they're going to run it, and they're going to get that first down.
Well done.
The ever so elusive first down, Bill.
It's been a while since they had one.
Yeah, for Rosong, it's another good carry, and it's a first down for Team Nova Scotia. Clock now becoming the enemy now. 4:45 to go here in the fourth quarter. 28-3 the score. I think the game's pretty much won here by Manitoba. The most important thing here is get some momentum if you're Team Nova Scotia. Get in the end zone here. Prove that you can get some points.
Well, they still have one more game to play in this tournament.
And now Gabrielli Nice little gain there for Dante. Again, positive yardage.
They had 5 receivers out there, but Gabriel didn't see anything he liked right off the bat, so he just pulled it down and went. He's pretty quick and made some players miss. So now they're in 3-down territory now. So here you can do play action pass and go over the top, and then because you know you're going to run it on 3rd down anyway.
Maybe run it strong side left towards the big left tackle Johnson. Instead they pass. Gabrielli's going to go deep. He's got a man. Separation. Caught. Right side corner at the 10-yard line. It's his man Noah Banks, and Nova Scotia's in the red zone.
What a great throw. When you've got a receiver on the wide side of the field like that, just going straight down the field, nothing fancy on the route. But the throw over his outside shoulder and the receiver adjusting to that, Gabrielli puts it the only place he can throw it. On the outside, he just adjusts to it slightly, makes the catch. He's a step and a half behind the receiver. But Gabrielli decided right off the bat, that's the guy I'm going to. He got lots of room to work with. Beautifully executed.
First and goal from the 10. Bombed to the end zone is Gabrielli, looking deep left, just out of the reach. It appeared to me that the intended target was Aries Perry.
Perry got tied up a little bit coming out of, he was on the inside receiver and he's cutting out to the left, and he got tied up a little bit with his coverage of the defender because the quarterback threw it where you're supposed to throw it. Throw it to the far corner and let the receiver run to it, but Perry just couldn't quite get there in time. He's like a step and a half behind.
Big play here, 2nd down and goal from the 10. Gabrielli, 2:48 to go in the 4th. He fakes a handoff. Nice play action. He's going to run it here. He's got some wheels, and look at him muscle his way towards the goal line. He's going to be short here, but I think Nova Scotia's going for it, Bill.
Oh, of course they are. Of course they are. They need 7. 3 is not going to help them there. They're going to go on. They're going to try to get some confidence in their offensive line. Say, guys, this score's in your hands. Now, this isn't by any means a running play. But it puts the defense in a situation that is going to be a challenge. Their defense is going to be in man coverage, so you're going to see some crossing routes if they're going to throw the ball, trying to get some players to bump and open up a coverage.
Big play, 3rd down and goal from the 2. Short pass, caught, touchdown, Nova Scotia. For the first time today, Nova Scotia finds the end zone. It's the running back on the short side, pass on the left, Aiden Rosong.
Great call. When you're in that tight, you can sneak the fullback, sneak the running back up to one side. The linebacker's got to go get him. If you run some receivers across the faces of those linebackers, they can't get to him. And what you watch, 30's going to come out of the backfield here. The linebacker who's covering him is nowhere near him because he can't get there because there's just way too many people. He just misses him. He just vanishes and wide open. But that's a great call there.
In Manitoba, they brought the blitz on that play. And that is why Aiden Rosong was wide open.
Yes, there was nobody. There's the person who was supposed to cover him was trying to get at the quarterback.
Extra point is good, and just a great drive there. You know,
It really
Nova
was.
Scotia's going to lose this game, but they're going to go back to the locker room knowing, hey, we didn't give up. We showed resiliency, and they finally solved this stout Manitoba defense.
Yeah, they showed a lot of good things on that. They scored and they completed a deep pass against a defense that was out there to prevent the deep pass, and they didn't. And I think kudos to them. That was a great example of getting players in the right position and the players executing the play exactly as it's drawn up.
2:19 to go here in the 4th quarter. Now, if you're Nova Scotia, are you thinking onside here?
Oh, of course you are. Why not? There's a couple of different ways to do it. The nice thing with in Canadian football, because the field's so wide, you can chip it up to this side. You can put it airborne, and you can put it as close to the sidelines as you want because you don't have to have possession of it. You just have to be the last person to touch it, the last team to touch it going out of bounds. Doesn't look like he set up to kick it short, but I would.
We had an injured player down for Nova Scotia. I think that is Banks. He appears to be okay. We'll keep our eyes peeled.
Manitoba's expecting a short kick. They got everybody. They got their hands team. They got everybody up tight.
Let's see what Oss does. Declan Oss. It is going to be. Oh, it is a short kick.
It didn't go 10, and Manitoba jumped on it. Good play by Manitoba to jump on that.
And the player who received the ball actually got hurt on the play, so that will stop the clock and stop everything here. Just a reminder, we got a game coming up at 1 p.m. Team Ontario, Team Saskatchewan. A very good football game coming up, Bill.
Very, very good. I watched the Saskatchewan game last night just to get a little background on it. They're pretty solid offensively with respect to their offensive line and their running game and their quarterbacks. Teams from Saskatchewan are always just so well coached, and they're fundamentally sound. Ontario, I think, just has some.
They got some dynamite players.
They got skilled players.
Yes.
And I think they've got some game breakers that I don't believe Saskatchewan has. Saskatchewan just wears you down, but Ontario has some guys that if you give them a couple of yards, they got you.
We mentioned earlier, in this game, Team Nova Scotia, this big mammoth of a left tackle, Andrew Johnson. Team Ontario's got a mammoth of a wide receiver, and he's got some speed, Chase Judge.
Oh, yeah, Chase had a fantastic game on the Monday. He was, I think, their player of the game, the offensive player of the game for him, and he's a big target. And if he comes up against an undersized DB, it's going to be tough for that DB to cover him.
Team Ontario, Team Saskatchewan, 1 p.m. kickoff. Are you doing color for that game, Bill?
I am, and I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a real slugfest.
A real slugfest.
A real slugfest.
I got to figure out who's calling that game. I've yet to figure out. I don't know if we're going to have Trevor Miller, former voice of the Penticton Bees, former voice of the Okanagan Sun. Ryan Waters should have the call tonight, 7 p.m. for the New Brunswick BC game. And Graham Turnbull, I think the only game Graham Turnbull's doing is last Tuesday. So I don't know for sure who has the call here for the 1 p.m. Yours truly, Chase Johnston, will be back on the mic for the 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. game Sunday. Those will be the third place game and then the fifth place game. Manitoba will be more than likely playing in one of those games, the fifth place game, after defeating Nova Scotia here.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, all those games Sunday. It's a lot to ask out of these young players. 3 games in the span of really only 5 full days.
It's not a lot of time to prepare. Football is a very complicated game, and you want time to prepare your players as to what they're going to be up against. So that's physically they can do it, but it's the intellectual level of it that's the challenge.
Sharp in at quarterback. He's going to hand the ball off to Farber. Farber, short gain after he stumbles. And it will be second down, but more importantly for Manitoba, they want to get that clock running.
Just keep moving the ball, just run it on the ground. Give your offensive line some positive stuff at the end of this game to just push Nova Scotia, as back as they can, but they've got to really get a first down here and then run it up.
Back to pass is Sharp. He's going to throw it. Oh, that went right into the hands there of Martins. And Eric Martins, he's going to want that one back. That was a good-looking pass there from Sharp.
That was a great pass. Running the deep crossing pattern over top of the linebackers. You know what, Sharp, he's looking at this the whole way. He's looking at him, and he sets, and he puts some zip on that, and it's going at a good clip. And that's, as a receiver, that's what they pay you the big bucks for, is you got to make those catches.
Third down now and 7. So we're going to see DeRosa kick this ball away, and maybe with a little bit of swagger and confidence, Nova Scotia offense will go back to work. High snap, taken, kick is away. It will sail, caught by McGlure, no yards, and tackled down at the 32. Ball should be spotted at around the 37-yard line, and that is where Gabrielli and the Nova Scotia offense will go back to work.
That's a great, a wonderful catch by McGlure. Coming up on the run and making that catch as he did with all sorts of black jerseys right in his face. It takes some courage to hit that one on the run.
Nova Scotia first down at their own 36-yard line.
Shotgun formation for Dante Gabrielli. I think I said Jacob. I apologize. Ball now moved ahead after the penalty. Spotted at the 45-yard line of Nova Scotia. Minute 35 to go in the football game. 12:12 local time here in sunny and hot Kelowna. These players, both these teams, Nova Scotia and Manitoba, both provinces that are not used to playing in 30-plus degree temperatures. And just escaping pressure, left sideline is Gabrielli, and there's extra flags here on Manitoba. It's going to be unsportsmanlike on Toby Sucumbi. And Sucumbi, that's his second personal foul of the game.
There's, no need for that. Yeah, he did the hustle to go from the middle of the field all the way over to the sidelines, which for a big guy that's a long way to go. But there's a big wide white stripe there that tells you where you're out of bounds. You can't grab a player who stepped out of bounds and throw them to the ground and then put your hands up wondering, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? No, you're guilty as charged.
First down and 10. Dante Gabrielli takes a snap. Launches this one. Left side of the field. Oh, that was in and out of the hands. He was roughed up there by the defensive back, Jaden Kendrick. I think it was just enough where you couldn't have thrown a flag. What'd you see there, Bill Long?
It was adjusting to the ball. I didn't think it was a penalty. Gabrielli was going there right off the bat. He says, I'm throwing this guy. He wasn't really open, but he cut inside, and there.
You played the ball, not the player.
Yeah, you've got to allow the defender the opportunity to get to the football. So if there's going to be some incidental contact in that, they've got to let it go.
Second down and 10. Gabrielli again. Pressure coming. He's just going to run it up the middle. Why not? He's going to take a huge hit by Fouillard and swing his body forward for a first down. What a play. What second effort. Doing his best Marshawn Lynch impression. Yeah, you tackled me, but somehow I got an extra 4 yards out of it.
He was he did the same thing in the last game. He took off and he just took guys on and says, no, I'm going north-south on this. I'm not going to try and run around. I'm not going to slide down. I'm going and taking you on. And you can see here in the replay, he says, no, nobody here. I'm going. And then right here where he could have gone wide. He said, no, going straight up the field, and then just and the defender actually spun him forward for another 3 yards. This is where part of the game when when you're a kid playing games, you say, "Okay, next score wins." Right?
Pretty much.
Do they have that? Do they have that rule? I don't think they do.
No, I don't. I think they took that out recently. Dante Gabrielli, first down and 10. A minute 11 remaining here in the football game. Whew. Caught myself there.
It had to happen once.
Yeah, exactly. Gabrielli. botches a snap there, somehow gets it up, runs wide left. He's going to take off again. Oh, and he trucks a defender. Wow.
Love it. Love it. That's going to be a holding penalty, I think, on Nova Scotia. But Gabriel says, nah, I'm going to take you on. I'm not going to just be the recipient of the hit. I'm going to give one.
And so the play coming back. I don't know. Gabrielli just touched his face, and I don't know. He might be busted open. Either he took it near the nose or the mouth. Dante Gabrielli might need to be substituted out for Carter Cohen. That's exactly what's happening right now. And the coaching staff of Nova Scotia, I don't know if they necessarily want to see that when they know they're losing the game. They want to make sure that their quarterbacks are both at their disposal for Sunday morning's game.
Yep.
That game will be a 10 a.m. game, and it will be Nova Scotia versus either BC or New Brunswick. A heartbreaking loss for Team BC last night against Team Alberta. They appeared that they were going to pick up the victory. Alberta scores points late. They edge Team British Columbia. And the home team will not play for the gold medal game.
I think that BC-Alberta game went pretty much as everybody predicted it would be.
Right down the wire.
Yeah, they said this is a one-score game. It's not going to be a blowout either way.
And also injured on the play there was Noah Banks, who's just been taking a beating all game, but he's made some massive plays offensively for this Nova Scotia team.
Yeah, he's come up when he's been asked to do so. He just hurt himself trying to block for his quarterback who was scrambling.
So first down and 20. Carter Cohen in the game now for Gabrielli. Cohen takes a snap. Cohen avoids pressure. Now he's going to throw it, takes a huge hit, still gets the ball off to McGlure. And McGlure down past the original line of scrimmage. Good catch, good play there from Cohen. But I think the play is going to come back. I think that's an offensive face mask, isn't it?
I think the straight arm is going to call him for a face mask, I think. But love Cohen's play here, just pulling up and just dumping it over the top. But right here, he's got him by the face mask. I think that they're going to call him for after the gain. A penalty. It's either the face mask or a little bit of shoving on the ground.
Face mask, Nova Scotia, number 83. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. Second down.
Whatever Manitoba said or did early in the game, they certainly got under McGlure's skin because he's been on the edge for the entire second half.
Now the Manitoba fans here in the Apple Bowl really starting to get into it. Second down and 20. They actually technically only lost 1 yard. That was it because of the catch and run. So really just a loss of down when you really look at it. Catch made. And the catch was made by the wide receiver, Aries Perry, nowhere close to the first down. And Carter Cohen and this Nova Scotia offense will remain on the field for a third down and very long.
Well, they're going to need 13 yards. So that's either the Manitoba is going to drop off. Their linebackers are going to be deep. They're going to make it very difficult for Cohen to try and drop something over top of them into that, which gives Manitoba the option of maybe hitting somebody on a quick slant pattern or an out where, once again, as I've said a number of times, throw the ball short and then let your athlete get the rest of the yards. I can't see a longer completion than maybe 10 or 15 yards at most, just because of the way Manitoba should be playing their defense.
Already 29 degrees here at the Apple Bowl.
But it's a dry 29.
It is a dry 29. It's not a Toronto 29 or a Vancouver 29.
It is a nice dry 29.
So third down From the 40-yard line, it's going to be about 3rd and 13. Cohen takes a snap. Cohen runs. Cohen taken down. A great shoestring tackle made by Matt Gillespie. First time we've been saying his name all morning.
Solid play by Manitoba's defense. They dropped everybody off. There was nobody open coverage, and then linebackers stayed home. So because they're starting to spy the Nova Scotia quarterbacks, and say these guys are going to take off and run, so we have to keep somebody home to watch that. And if he doesn't make that tackle, he has a chance to get that first down.
41 seconds ago, we'll more than likely see Justin Sharp and the Manitoba offense just run the ball. Joshua Farber, his tailback. Farber runs it up the gut. A yard or two gained here. Clock stops with 36 seconds to go. Second down and 8 here coming up. Now the clock runs. Sharp getting direction from his head coach, Jason Park. And now they appear to be in victory formation. Team Manitoba celebrates their first victory of the Canada Cup here in the Apple Bowl in Kelowna, British Columbia. Nova Scotia will move on and look forward to playing the 10 a.m. game Sunday morning. That's 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 2 p.m. Atlantic time on Sunday. They will play the loser of New Brunswick, BC. Team Manitoba, however, they are going to play the winner of Team BC, Team New Brunswick. That game is a 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time, 11 p.m. Atlantic time. For those of you Nova Scotia fans that want to watch that game and kind of take a look at the competition, make sure you get yourself a cup of coffee, maybe a Red Bull or two. You can stay up and watch that one.
And if you can't make it, well, it's on YouTube. You can just watch it later. But
Yeah,
if you want to watch it live, it's going to be a little bit up there. Manitoba is going to give whoever wins the BC game is going to give them all they can handle. They've got they've got the offensive line and defensive line, I think, to be competitive against BC if BC wins. If it's against them, they're pretty solid. Nova Scotia didn't quit. Not one play did they quit. They had some bad luck on some plays, and when they made mistakes, man, it just cost them dearly. So 2 big plays right at the start of the second quarter blew it open for Manitoba, and then that forced Nova Scotia to change their game plan somewhat because they needed to play catch-up football.
And let's state the elephant in the room when it comes to the play calling from Team Manitoba. They continue to throw the ball even though they are up so far. Yeah, they want to win games. Yeah, they want to win this Canada Cup, and show that they're the best province. This is a showcase. There's scouts here in the stands. They want to see the playmakers make plays. They want to see the offensive line make blocks. Yeah. They're not here to see this wonderful competition of who's the best province. They're here to see who's my future. Yep. Who are the players on board? So when you're questioning some of the play calling, you got to look more at the bigger picture. Why does this tournament exist?
Yep.
Right? It's an opportunity to showcase your talent and not prove necessarily who the best province is, but maybe prove that you deserve a spot on a college roster in a couple years from now.
I think that having been that person that's called plays and been that offensive coordinator, I don't like to criticize other offensive coordinators because I know what they're going through and I've done it. So individual plays you don't critique. Philosophy you can say, oh, okay, what's the philosophy? And you hit the nail on the head there. This is all about letting the kids play and be in a show. These coaches aren't getting scouted, right? It's the players are. So nobody's out here scouting these coaches.
That's going to do it for the broadcast here for the 10 a.m. game. Team Manitoba with a big victory over Team Nova Scotia. Stay tuned for 1 p.m. game. Team Ontario takes on Team Saskatchewan. In the meantime, my name's Chase Johnston. His name is Bill Long, signing off from the Apple Bowl.
Viable offensive and the Most Valuable Defensive Player awards to both teams as chosen by the Football Canada Cup Selection Committee. Presenting these awards, the director of the host committee, Frank Nazo. The winner of the Most Valuable Defensive Player of the Game award from Team Nova Scotia, number 40, Patrick Mullen. The winner of the Most Valuable Offensive Player of the Game from Team Nova Scotia, number 6, Noah Banks. The winner of the Most Valuable Defensive Player of the Game from Team Manitoba, number 90, Jerome Fouliard. And the winner of the Most Valuable Offensive Player of the Game from Team Manitoba, number 14, quarterback Miles Blatherwick. No, I'm done.
Two young people without a thing say some vows and spread their wings and settle down just what they need, living on love. She don't care about what's in style, she just likes the way he smiles. It takes more than marble and tile, living on love. Living on love, buying on time. Without somebody, nothing ain't worth a dime. Just like an old-fashioned storybook rhyme, living on love. It sounds simple, that's what you're thinking, but love can walk through fire without